I'm Brittany. This video is to document a really fun moment of PoE fishing history. poorFishWife recently reached out to me, and with harvest coming to a close, she enlisted my help to conduct one last experiment for fishing science. First, I wanted to know a little bit more about her and about fishing, and she indulged my curiosities by providing a variety of amazing and thoughtful answers. After the Q&A, there's the setup and science as we sacrifice an angler's plate to the harvest gods. These clips are from the stream, which I've hastily edited. So we're going to go through the Q&A. I asked poorFishWife, I think it was 15 questions about all things fishing, getting to know a little bit about her history with PoE, etc. There's a lot of fishing science that goes on and collaboration efforts across her and her Discord, but I wanted to know a little bit about herself too, as far as her history with PoE. And then we kind of delve into some of the wishes and outcomes that we're hoping for today. And then this ring right here is what we'll be sacrificing a little bit later. It's called Angler's Plait, and it is extremely rare, and we'll find out exactly how rare here in a second. But so first things first, I'm going to be reading the questions and the answers, so we'll just work through this together. So how did you first get into solving the mysteries of fishing? And she replies, when I was a newbie, I met Krillson and had no idea what I was experiencing. Humorously, I met him again, and then a third time during the Battle Royale event. For those who do not know, this was as absolutely crazy RNG. This was enough to intrigue me. When I learned that PoE had a large number of undiscovered secrets that mystified the player base, it quickly became my hobby. Second question, how long have you played PoE? She replies, I believe the earliest I played was Breach, but only on and off. I started getting more serious around Incursion. I'm not a lifelong veteran like some folks, which is quite okay. I am pretty new myself, step 2. What does a typical league look like for you? Do you split the time between playing and hunting for secrets, or does it happen all at once? Alright, so this, I enjoy racing to tier 16 on softcore leagues, so the first day or two are spent only towards that goal. But no matter what build I'm running, I always find myself trying to squeeze fishing items into my gear, hoping to spy a new unusual occurrence. The majority of the rest of my time in league is spent sleuthing instead of actually playing the game. Here we go. Has anything been discovered by sheer accident? She replies, in the beta of Path of Exile, Chris Wilson was already hiding hints that connected Fairgrave's tricorn to normal fishing rod drops, but in those early days, those hints were largely overlooked by the community. The very first fishing rods were discovered sheerly by accident by blissfully unaware players who simply happened to be wearing Fairgrave's tricorn. These unusual observations were eventually figured out, and clever players realized in retrospect that GGG had been quietly dropping critical hints all along. That doesn't sound familiar. That's totally not GGG's MO, is it, right? Next question is, PoE contains a lot of variables. Do you find this frustrating or fascinating when testing? She replies, the complexity of PoE makes it shot in the dark or speculative testing mostly fruitless. A tester can never know if they are missing critical prerequisite steps. I don't find it frustrating. Rather, it's just a fact of reality and part of the challenge. This is the principal reason why it's so important to search for official in-game and out-of-game hints from GGG. It's just not feasible to test haphazardly without concrete lead or well-reasoned hypothesis. How much testing do you typically do, and how many times do you repeat results before you feel like the data is adequate? A huge amount, she replies. Fortunately, I'm not working alone. There's a whole community of dedicated anglers like myself, and we all collaborate. As an example of extreme lengths to which we'll sometimes go, one of our community members has run over 10,000 instances of Harbor Bridge in search of angler's plates. It is imperative to have a ton of data before we make any confident statements. If we get something wrong, players may waste enormous amounts of time chasing a ghost. It also seems like you're working against extraordinary odds pretty frequently too, such as some of the drop rates for English Plait. How does this affect your research? This is probably the biggest challenge in making useful guides for other players. With such low drop frequencies, it is difficult to isolate all factors. Sometimes the recommendations I will give necessarily include steps that are probably superfluous, but having superfluous steps is much better than an alternative where some esoteric critical factor is missed and the drops become impossible to attain. Can you walk me through what went into discovering the consistent method for dropping Angler's Plait? Says, I walked through a lot of the details in Angler's Weight number 3 on Reddit. Check out a huge post if you're interested in the nitty gritty, and I'll make sure the link is either in the description or we'll make sure it gets into something somewhere so you guys can find it. Otherwise, a quick Google search will almost always yield this. The short answer is a gargantuan amount of research followed by a gargantuan amount of isolation testing. I researched and documented every Angler's Plait drop that occurred within PoE's history. I spoke to dozens of people who were connected to each drop, finders, buyers, party mates, etc. I categorized my findings based on trustworthiness. As you might imagine, there are a lot of pranksters out there when it comes to fishing content. With those data, I began building correlations about possible factors and created dozens of characters to test each possible hypothesis. Once I finally found an Angler's Plait myself, I was able to start adding and removing factors to narrow down the possibility space. After I had a panful of Angler's Plaits, I knew it was time to share my findings. How many have you in your community dropped? We found at least 7 anglers so far. There may be more that have been discovered by one of our researchers, but weren't highlighted in our community. The amount of effort that has gone into producing that tiny quantity of Angler's Plait is enormous. Chasing this item is not for the faint of heart. What was the curiosity behind sacrificing specific items to the harvest craft we'll be using today? Using the harvest craft, change a unique item into Perandus coins is very uncommon. Items with a decent item level can give 15,000 plus coins. The number of coins that can pay out based on the sacrifice item's drop weight and item level. Rarer items pay out more coins. A month ago, we tested Reefbane and found that GGG seemingly hard-coded a special value of 42 coins for Reefbane. We made a post about it on Path of Exile announcing the Easter egg. With harvest ending, this may be our last opportunity to see if Angler's Plait has a likewise special value. Are you satisfied with Reefbane being the answer to life, the universe, and everything? To be honest, it's always a little painful when I sacrifice a fishing rod for science. I whispered a eulogy as I destroyed it. So long, and thanks for all the fish. Incidentally, we've researched Reefbane's special glow property and deduced some of its behavior. We don't understand it completely yet, however. Once we do, perhaps we'll find that Reefbane is truly the answer we seek. Are you hoping that when we sacrifice this Angler's Plait, it will yield another Easter egg? Or is this type of Easter egg from GGG typically pretty rare, therefore possibly limited to just Reefbane? I do not expect another Easter egg this time, but it'd be great to see one. Yes, these types of Easter eggs by GGG are often very rare and often difficult to find. Even if we don't see a special result, I've been convinced that the sacrifice is worth it purely for the history books. A relevant anecdote: years ago when Dark Shrine League ended, GGG announced that there were 3 Dark Shrine results which the player base never triggered. Recently, Bex mentioned today, not even GGG knows what those 3 results were. Either they've lost that information over the years, or it's too expensive to dig up. The world may never know what those secrets were. We'll avoid that calamity this time by sacrificing this Angler's Plait. Are there any other fishing mysteries you're currently working on that you can talk about? We have a lot of ongoing projects. I teased one research project in my recent minus 100% item quantity post, The Winding Pier. Ever since Krillson's release in 1.2.0, Winding Pier asset files have existed in the game's data. There are multiple indicators, both in-game and out-of-game, which point to the Winding Pier being a hideout. It is possible, though definitely not guaranteed, that a Winding Pier hideout may be unlockable by players. Carl even commented on this once years ago. A few of us have been searching for more connections to see if this theory holds merit. We'll share our results as soon as we have something concrete. Any advice to new anglers? To get your first fishing rod, equip the unique helm, Fairgrave's tricorn, and defeat unique monsters. Fishing rods are so uncommon, so it may take a while to find one. You may also get lucky and find a Piranda's tackle box, which always contains a fishing rod, Slither Pinch, Fairgrave's tricorn, and an albino Roa feather. You can also obtain the unique fishing rod Song of the Sirens by completing a set of the Vast divination cards. The Vast is found in Coral Ruins. There are other ways to get fishing rods, but these are probably the easiest. There are many other fishing secrets in Path of Exile. Certain items require very complex steps and immense human effort. Typically, the most dedicated or foolhardy investigators pursue these other secrets. If fishing secrets interest you, check out Angler's Mate Fishing magazine posts on Reddit for more information. And how can people contribute to your project and research? Our fishing research community is open to anyone but opt-in. Reach out to me on Reddit as poorFishWife or on Discord as Takihime as 6589 to express your interest and get an invitation link. We have a few hundred members already. I also love receiving PMs of unusual observations or ideas from anyone. Even if you don't want in the community, if you see something weird in game, I'd love to hear about it. And I think that is... Alright, here we go. Do you think we'll ever have actual fishing in the game? Maybe. It's also possible that some form of fishing already exists, though perhaps not in the manner we might expect. In the meantime, we know definitively that there are plenty more unsolved mysteries to be untangled and new secrets to be discovered. The next secret we will uncover might not be a fish, but it may be as significant as the secret to Angler's Plait. Alright, so what we're going to be doing now is getting everything set up for the actual sacrifice. We have the seeds here in order to get this all going. And so first things first, we'll get this put down, then we'll get the ring in here, and then we'll do the science. Oh, sorry. I'm so excited I can't even type. Alright, so first things first, I want to show you guys how rare this actually is. Oh, we have a severe fishing rod. Oh man. Uh-oh. Leaving all two. Look at all this. We're building the sacrifice window here, right? This is to ensure that this is exactly what we have here. And then there it is. So this item, I want to show you guys really fast. Let me see if I can bring this up in the background. I want you guys to understand how valuable this is, and a lot of you can't really put respective value on things without there being a price. Because you want to know how much things are worth, right? And so I want to show you guys how much this ring is actually worth. Right now, there's one listed for 4 mirrors. So if we just went off of this listed result, that is how much we are going to be sacrificing worth of potential value today. So next thing is to decide what do we think is going to happen? Is this going to be something that is... What are we expecting? I really want there to be another hard-coded value, but we have to be prepared for the result of it not being. You think it's going to be 1 coin for 120? Alright, so we're going to rub the ring all over the sacrifice. Please make our sacrifice worth it for all of fishing science. And then we will do change unique item into Perandus coins. Rare Perandus coins are worth more. And here we go. Let's make PoE history. You guys ready? You ready? Oh, no, it wasn't a special result, but hey, we have created PoE history. So we've got a total of 5,695 coins today. All in the name of fishing science. Oh no. Apparently she just couldn't take it. No, poor fishwife, why? Poor fishwife, no. But thank you guys all so very much for being here. Sorry, my heart sometimes stops in the face of beautiful science. Alright. Well, for all posterity and to preserve this, we'll give you back the exact coins that your fish or your sacrifice was worth, so you can keep them forever, as it is the only remnant of this 4 mirror item that remains. And thank you so much for this opportunity and for answering the questions and sharing all of this with my community, and eventually, hopefully, all of Reddit and the rest of the PoE community. And this concludes our little project. Again, a huge thank you to poorFishWife for picking me to be the harbinger of sacrifice, and I wanted to turn around and make this video as a gift in return to preserve this moment forever, as well as give everyone the opportunity to get to know her and the time, dedication, and passion that goes into chasing the fishing lure. All relevant links will be found below, and I wanted to share one last bit of information in the aftermath of the sacrifice. Perhaps this was an Easter egg after all. She wrote to let me know the following. The SCP-5695 is a figurine formed of milk chocolate superficially resembling a common goldfish. When SCP-5695 is placed into a body of water, all aquatic organisms in that body of water will become additional instances of SCP-5695 regardless of the size of the area involved. She says, even if this is merely a coincidence, I love it. Maybe you found an Easter egg after all, one made of exponentially propagating chocolate. So what do you think? Is this intentional? A coincidence? We may never know. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.